All right, screen came in, and obviously we found this $20 Bluetooth radio on Marketplace. I don't really care about a radio in this car. It'll be nice on long trips or when I have navigation going in so I can just do hands-free. But that's really the only reason I'm doing it. I don't really particularly care about the music in the old car, but it would be nice. Anyway, this is kind of a mock-up of what I'm thinking or what's going to happen. If you notice, there's the screen with lights above it. So I'm thinking I was going to 3D print something to remove this top panel. Obviously, that we've covered this in other videos. Now I'm thinking if I gut this just right, I might can make this sit in board, basically, and keep this, remove the radio, and make a panel to cover that up is what I'm thinking, because this plastic piece is removable. So that might be a faster route. It'll be the end of the month before I can get help on the 3D printing. So I'm not sure if I want to wait or if I just want to start kind of cutting and see what happens. Either way, I'm not using this cluster anymore. How I'm going to have to separate it, I don't think it's going to be usable to somebody else. And it's also kind of messed up just from the weather. It's cracked up and everything else like that. So first things first, we're going to remove this radio, and then we're going to try to remove the top part and see what we can do with it. We may or may not use it. If so, we wasted a little bit of time, but if not, we'll have very minimal modifications to make this whole thing work. All right, so we have the gauge cluster apart, and bear with me, guys. I know it seems kind of weird what I'm thinking, just so I don't have to change. So if I make something, it's either going to have this top piece with the brackets correct for it to screw in properly and give it some structure, which this has. I have to make that, or I trim a little bit where this goes, and then make me a plate for the radio over here. And I think it's going to be enough room for the dash pad just to slide right over it. No issues, I think. We're going to measure. We're going to take this loose and we're going to eyeball it first, just because I've got an idea and I'm running with it. All right, speedo and gas gauge is removed, as well as the old radio. So I'm banking that's about centered where it needs to go. So that is very close to fitting. I mean, it's a little die grinder action, and I think it's going to fit and sit flush. So I think this is what we're actually going to go with. And then once this is in, I'll basically take a piece of aluminum or plastic or something and fill a panel basically that covers up all the stuff that I don't need. These warning lights over here, warning lights over here, stuff I don't need. So this is probably going to work. We're going to keep on it. Obviously, I've got a few weeks so my buddy can help me if we go that route of 3D printing. He'll have to have a lot more time in it. Then this may be a pretty simple solution that also works. So I like it. And then obviously radio is going to sit somewhere in there. This is just a mock-up, obviously, of where everything's sitting right now. That's about where it sits. So we may have to trim some of this inner structure on some of this may be a little too narrow, in which case we'll probably trim a little bit. There's like a trim ring I could probably trim to give me a little clearance on this tablet, but I think this is going to work, so we're going to keep on this project. All right, as you can see here, we've cut out enough to make this screen work in the factory area. The radio, this is the old radio plate, so we're going to trace this template and then adjust it for our new radio. So we're going to steal this template so it'll bolt right in here should we ever need to remove the radio easier, and then this will bolt in from the back side, and then we'll make a cover that covers to here, and then a cover that covers everywhere except the radio. So that is, we're making progress. I didn't want to go crazy, so we cut out just what we needed. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of is this right here. I had to cut a little bit more than I wanted to. That should still bolt in, but we have other tabs over here. And this is aluminum, I think, best I can tell, judging by it's either aluminum or pot steel. But anyway, this is all the little critter pieces we cut. out to make the screen work. It is gonna work. We're just gotta get creative with how we cover this up and then cover around the radio up. So slowly but surely we will get it obviously where I cut and then cleaned it up. So all the backside of this thing, there's a few things that I have to cut in, so I had to cut out a little bit more for that, but now it's sitting right where it needs to go. So everything will be able to bolt in from the backside, and if I ever need to service this, it shouldn't be hard to get out. So we are, again, coming along, but it's gonna be slow and steady on this, taking our time, doing it once and hopefully doing it right. And then we'll get it back in the car and then finish up the wiring. This was a nice little break from wiring. All right, so once again, not done. This is the factory plastic panel that covers the radio and the speedometer. Obviously, this is below the plastic. I'm just cutting it because I don't need it and I'm trying to see what it looks like. So obviously, we're on to something. I'll have to leave a little lip down here just to fasten it in properly, but we'll probably take some more pliable plastic and fold an edge, basically make a barrier for this EFI to sit in, and then we'll finish up this radio side another day. I've got the template underneath basically for it to go in, but we want to have it sit about the same as the EFI. So I'm happy with it. It's coming along. Like I said, it's gonna be a very slow process, so I'll figure out what I want. But yeah, she's definitely getting there, and the finished product is gonna look good. I know y'all are probably doubting it right now. Just stay tuned with me. We're getting there.